Oh, Amaris puts blueberries in her banana bread. That sounds amazing. Is there like a recipe, Amaris? No, not sus. That sounds awesome. Okay, we'll stay tuned for Amaris' recipe because you just mix it in. So like you make normal banana bread and you just throw in some banana. You throw in some blueberries. Ah, that sounds so awesome. That sounds great. Nuts on bread is sus, but blueberries is more sus. Interesting. I don't think so. I think blueberry sounds amazing. Blueberry banana bread sounds awesome. Um, so much hater. Kimberly throwing some haterade out there. All right. Well, if you don't like banana bread, do you like zucchini bread or pumpkin bread? Someone said carrot cake is in that same like range. Bananas aren't good when they're cold. Anyways, my current lack of banana bread is unbearable. So if you know anyone who, you know, has any banana bread hookups, that would be great. Galilee is really convinced that there should be no carrot cake. All right, whatever. Let's look at our agenda. Okay, today is all about the quiz. If you did not take the quiz yet, I need you to take the quiz. In fact, I need you to take it so much that I would love for you to just go take the quiz right now. So you can pop into one of those breakout rooms to finish the quiz. If you submitted it late last night, I haven't graded it yet, but for everyone else, I have graded it. Even I think Ale submitted yesterday afternoon. I graded yours as well, Ale. So we're going to talk about how we did and some common mistakes that I saw as I was grading them. We're going to chat through real quick how to access the rubric and the comments. And then I'm going to tell you how you can get your points back. Because I know some people are like, I want to get all my points missed, and I am here for you. So how'd we do? On average, we did amazing. A 91% was the average, 64 out of 70. And shout out to our 5 people who got 100%, Axel, Jimmy, Kiara, Mia, and Galilee. That's Mia L. Great job, team. And I am super duper proud of you for hitting that 100%. Some would have been there, yeah, Kimbo, almost. So many of you got like straight A's and 1B or straight A's and 2B's. That was also a very normal score. So I broke it down by individual quiz questions, since that's how you'll see it in Elluminate. And you can see the average score here. We were in like the solid B range for every one, but that's not awesome. I want at least a couple of us to be in the solid A range. The lowest scores were 26 and 27B. So we'll talk specifically about those today. For this column just tells you the number of non-A's, right? So this is like how many people for each of these sections did not get an A, right? So for example, 12 people in this class did not get an A on 24. 13 people did not get an A on 27B, right? So interesting that this is our lowest percentage, but not our lowest non-A. So just some interesting data. You can think about why that would be true. So today specifically, we're going to focus on 24, 26, and 27B. I have a few other thoughts as well. I am looking for Amaris, Christine, Janet, Josh, and Kat. If you are on this call, if you could go ahead and message me if you still need to do the quiz, if you submitted it last night, or I think those are probably the 2 options. If you are on this call, if you could message me what's happening with your quiz. Amaris, that's you. Christine, that's you. Janet, I got your quiz, but I think your pictures didn't load, question mark. Josh, that's you. And I think we're missing Kat today. Okay, Amaris, I'm gonna send you into your breakout room, please, to complete your quiz right now. You can jump off. Okay, Josh, Josh and Christine, if you all could pop into your breakout rooms, because we're about to talk about some answers and I don't want you to have them before you finish it. So you should pop into a breakout room and work on that now, please. Thank you. Yes, you can delete the sections you don't need, Miriam, for sure. Cool. All right, team. Amazing. Let's jump in now that we have our people that already took it. So I want to first talk about common mistakes, okay? So some quick common mistakes. A common mistake on number 23. 23 was the one where we were graphing here. This is the correct answer, but some common mistake I saw was just graphing it wrong. Was like not realizing when you needed to flip it over with a negative versus flipping it over the y-axis, which would be with that fraction, right? So my number one hint is to check Desmos, right? You had access to Desmos, you were able to, you could just type it in, see what it looks like, kind of thing, right? So it's good to know how to do it on your own, but I also want you to utilize your resources. So that was the biggest mistake on 23 that I saw. On 24A, this one, they asked you to calculate 3 log base 2 of 7 minus natural log of 2. You can just, I saw a lot of people doing amazing work. Like they were trying to take this 3 and move it up there and then like convert it into 1 log, like all of this business, where like literally, since the question was asking you to calculate it, all you had to do was type it in Google and get this answer out. Right? Or not Google, type it in Desmos and get this answer out, right? So 7.729 would be your correct rounding there, right? So 7.729. Can you give me a thumbs up if that makes sense now? Because we had, I think this is one of our most missed questions and it was something you could just type into Desmos. Awesome, Araceli, thank you. Thanks, Kiara. Thanks, Fatima. Thanks, Emma. Thanks, David. Y'all are quick on those emojis. Appreciate you. Thanks, Walter. Cool. So this one, really, you could have just typed it in. For the other section of 24, I thought this was a very interesting mistake. So in this one, remember, they asked you to put them in order from least to greatest, right? From least to greatest. And I saw tons of correct calculations. Like you calculated this, you got 4.6 or 0.46, calculated this, got -6, and calculated this and got 0.025 or 0.0625. Which of these out of this second line right here, look at these 3 numbers, put in the chat, which of these is the smallest number? Yeah, the middle, -6. I had a lot of people trying to tell me that -6 was the biggest number here. It is the most extreme value, but it is technically the smallest value. A negative number is going to be smaller than any positive number. No matter what kind of fraction or decimal you have, if it's negative, it is a smaller number than, or like a smaller number than your decimal. Does that make sense? We've got some like, oh shoot. Also, the other like mistake that I saw in here was just like typing it in wrong. So make sure that when you type into Desmos that yours looks exactly how it is typed on the paper itself. Okay, so -6 should be your smallest answer there. All right, and we have 2 more, 27A and 27B. So the major mistake I saw on 27A, most of you all did an amazing job, like solved this all the way through, took the natural log to drop the exponent, subtract, like added the 3 to the other side, divided by 2. Almost everyone did that. And I got a lot of answers, 1.846, right? 1.846. This was how many people wrote their answer down. However, the answer is 1.84657, right? So if I'm going to use 3 decimals, I need to look at the fourth one. It's a 5, so this should have rounded up to 1.847. 1.847. Right, so this one here should have been a 7. Right, we have a rounding problem for 27A. And then 27B, we also had a rounding problem. And the major one that I saw was rounding in the middle of the problem, right? Rounding in the middle of the problem. So as we were working through these ones, it looks excellent up to about here. And then log base 3 of 6 turned into 1.631, which is a rounded answer. When you round in the middle of the problem, you're going to get a slightly wrong answer. So I got a lot of answers that were negative 4.42, right? The correct answer is actually negative 4.419, right? Slightly different. Yes, is this the end of the world? No, it's not. But you did get a slightly wrong answer. So I wanted to make sure that we understood how to type it in our calculators, which is the easiest way is to just leave it in logs for as long as possible. So I really liked the way that this person did it. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on theirs really fast. Hold on one moment. Zoom in here. So the way that they did it, they got to, they took the log base 3, and they got 2x equals log base 3 of x and log base 3 of 6, right? So they like distributed that into their x and into their 1. And then their log base 3 of 6 with the x here, they just moved that over to the other side. So now they had 2 minus log base 3 of 6 with that x on the outside, right? Those are their x's they're talking about. And it equaled this over here, negative log base 3 of 6. And then in order to get x by itself, they divided by 2 minus log base 3 of x, or log base 3 of 6 on both sides. And they got this here, negative log base 3 of 6. They ended up getting a positive answer, probably just didn't type in that extra negative there, right? But when you type that in all in one place, you can get this here. I also saw some people who did like lots and lots and lots of decimals on their paper. Like literally, I think one person had like 20, like went out to like 20 different decimal places. And that is okay. That's actually great. It's not going to cause you a problem. It just might take a little bit longer than working with the logs, right? Not calculating the logs for a while. Okay. So you could do either of those. I showcased both of those in our next section, right? The one thing we want to be careful of is not rounding in the middle of the problem, because this person rounded here, their answer ended up being just slightly incorrect. Can you give me a thumbs up if those common mistakes are making sense to you? Give me a thumbs down if that's not making sense. Do you have a thumbs down option? I don't think you have a thumbs down. Let me see. And I don't have any, I can't see what you see anymore. Your reactions. Yeah, thumbs up. Can't you simplify the log further? Tell me more, Emma, about what you mean. Feel free to come off mute.
Just like, can't you like simplify it by taking the 6 and splitting it to like, wait, what did I do? I think what I did was like I split it to like 6 and then it was like 2 and 3, and then I would simplify the 2 by dividing it out, and then I got like 1 on mine.
Yes, you could if you were like really trying to like stick to your calculus or like stick to your paper version. I would just go to your calculator at that point, because then you're kind of like on this one, how you're making things harder. On 24, we are making things harder than they needed to be, right? We could just type this in our calculator and get a number out, right? I think that's sort of the same situation here, where like if we have the ability to type it in our calculator, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just be mindful of how many decimals there are if we're in the middle of the problem.
But is it still technically right?
The correct answer would either be negative 4.419, or I would have to look at it, Emma, because once you if you turn this into multiplication, now you have addition down here on the bottom, and you have like two separate logs. So if you have a question about your specific one, I could take a look at yours again.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would say like the most correct answer would be negative 4.419.
Okay.
Cool. Sweet. Okay, so let's jump in. These are the common mistakes that I saw, but you may have made small mistakes on your own. So I want to make sure that we know how to access them. So when you are in your quiz, if you click submission details, it's going to take you to something, or you can view rubric evaluation. These two things will take you to the same page. It's going to take you to something that looks like this, where you can press show rubric. And once you press show rubric, it's gonna show you the score for each one, right? It's gonna show you the score for each one. So for 22, you may have gotten an A or B or C or not yet. And then you're gonna scroll down for each question. If you gave me like if you did not just upload your picture into Canvas, I just put in the comments here, like what my thoughts were on your question if I had any, right? So you may find comments in the rubric itself, but the majority of people where you're gonna find comments are gonna be, if you're on the submission page where it says show rubric, if you click out of the rubric, you're gonna see view feedback here, view feedback. And when you view feedback, you're gonna actually see like your document that you uploaded or your picture that you uploaded, and you'll see these comments here, right? Those comments, you can press reply and you can reply to me if you want, or you can just check them out. My quick tip is to try different zoom levels. It's kind of hard. This box gets really, really small, especially on your Chromebooks if you're using a Chromebook. So I would try using the different zoom levels and try to make your window as big as possible when you're looking for those comments there. Alternatively, I did make a video on how to show your how to do it on an app. So I will show you that video here. Go. Maybe. Play. Well, perhaps my video doesn't want to work. There we go.
Okay, so if you're in.
Nope, JK, hold on. This is for my app people. If you are using the app, I think it's the best way.
Okay, so if you're in your course in Canvas, you're going to go to the assignment, you're going to go down to the quiz, and then it tells you what your score is, and you can click the submission and rubric. And that's gonna, if you go over to rubric, it'll show you like you got an A on 22, an A on 23, all the way down to like a not yet or a B, etc. Right? So it'll show you your scores. And then over here, actually, if you just close this like this, there's like a little pink box, and then you press comments, and it'll show you what my comment was. So actually, I think it's a little easier to look at on your phone or a tablet or whatever if you have the Canvas student app. So I would check that out. Cool.
Well, that was fun. I've never done a video on Google before, so woohoo, made it happen. So anyways, if you have an app, it might be a little bit easier to view your comments. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and give you one more. I know I've been talking for like 30 minutes, so my apologies, friends, but we're almost done. So your test corrections assignment is here. I know many of you have already found it on Canvas. I'll go ahead and drop the link here. The basic gist of this idea is you're gonna go ahead and put in your own scores right here. And then you're gonna make sure that you find the comments that I left for you. So this is just like a checkup that you did indeed find the comments. So you're gonna put your scores here for each topic. You're gonna screenshot your comments so that I know that you found them. And then for each one that you, so let's say you got a B on 25, right? Or 22 in this case, if you got a B, you are going to type what you did wrong, right? So you're going to type what you did wrong here and what you should have done here. So just quick bullet points. I don't need full sentences, but you can type full sentences if you want. So quick bullets on what you did wrong here, the correction, what you should have done. And then in order to get your points back, you're going to do the redo problems. So you have to do a different number of problems based on what score you got. So if you got a B, you're going to do 2 problems. If you got a C, you're going to do 3 problems. If you got a not yet, you're going to do 4 problems, right? 4 problems, and you're going to put those problems here. You can choose any of the problems that are here. They are directly related to the topic that you just did. So if you got a not yet on 22, and you do 4 of these problems and you turn them in on today, right, at some point today, then I would raise your quiz grade, right, on 22, I will raise your quiz grade to an A. Right, so this is how we are getting our points back from our quiz. Okay. If you're working through the error analysis and you need some support, you're like, actually, I don't really know what I should have done, you can click this link right here, and it will take you to an exemplar page that shows you the correct way to do each of the problems, all the way from 22 to 27B. Okay, the whole way. Okay, that is your assignment for today. If you got straight A's, you're just going to complete this top portion, and then it tells you to turn it in. Are there any questions? I know that was a lot. I talked for like 30 straight minutes. You did a great job preparing for college where your professors talk forever. Does anyone have any questions about what we were working on today? If you can even just put no in the chat, if you don't have any questions, that would also be helpful that I know that you're still here. Tons of no's. Okay. All right. We have 2 options for how you might want to work today. Number 1, you might want to work solo. You can do that right now. Number 2, you might want to work in your teams. So if you want to work in your teams, you're welcome to jump into those teams right now. If you want to work in your like breakout rooms. If you want to stay here in case you have a question, you are welcome to do that as well. So I guess you have 3 options. You can stay in this room, work by yourself. You can stay in this room, ask me a question, or you can go to your breakout rooms and work there. We're going to have about 12 minutes of work time, and then we will end. I'll wrap us up at 10:30. Wrap us up at 10:30. Okay, friends, I release you. If you want to go to your breakout rooms, you can do that now. You're going to find the breakout room button on the bottom. If you can't find it, feel free to stay with me.